I got so obsessed with understanding this topic, and there are like so many books about it. Even companies like Google at that point that really wanted to have like,
we're bringing us an additional set of superpowers, an additional perspective inside the workforce.
how can we train the team to be like conscient about the bias? But also in the other side is like,
I do hear from so many people right now who are in AI roles, but are like, but it's so narrow and there's so much to learn. It's kind of nice to get exposed to a lot of it.
multiple things that have AI that make the life of brokers easier.
Welcome to another episode of AI Product Leader, where every week we shine a light on what it really takes to join the AI world. Real conversations with real AI builders, founders, product leaders, AI experts, technologists, and everything in between to understand where the world of AI is right now and what that path looks like, whether you're building AI products or a career in AI. Have a question or topic? Email us at support@aicareerboost.com and join the conversation. I'm your host, Polly Allen. I'm the founder of AI Career Boost, where I spend my time helping product leaders navigate the world of AI and thrive in AI leadership roles. I've spent my career in both the product management and software development sides of the development world, and I'm an ex-Alexa AI principal product manager, where I successfully launched the very first generative AI answers on Alexa back in 2020. I am super excited to welcome our guest today. Camila Buenamar is a senior product leader and founder of Productesas, a fast-growing community of Latinas in tech. With experience spanning FinTech, AI, and marketplace products across the US and Latin America, Camila brings a deep expertise in launching B2B platforms, scaling AI-driven solutions, and mentoring the next generation of product talent. Her background includes pivotal roles at RoadSync and Whale and Jaguar, where she's built solutions using NLP, OCR, and computer vision. At Stanford Innovation Fellow and General Assembly alum, Camila is passionate about combining technology, inclusion, and strategy to drive meaningful impact globally. Camila, it's such an honor to have you today. Thanks so much for coming and being on our podcast.
I am so excited. I could not be happier to be
Oh,
here with
wonderful.
you. I feel blessed and honored to be
Aw,
invited.
thanks so much. So I know you a little bit, but I know our listeners would love to know just a little bit more about your background, because you come from not a traditional background for someone who is launching very technical products in the AI, financial, all of these spaces. Can you tell us just a little bit of background on how you got into tech in the first place, and then how your interest in AI grew from there?
Completely. So I am from Colombia. I was born and raised in Colombia. I have been living in the US only for the past 3 years, but I did my undergrad in business.
Mm.
And while I was there, I was selected for a program of Harvard called Harvard Undergraduate Women in Business. And as an ambassador of that program, I was in charge of creating the women in business community back in my university and in many other in Colombia. There's like at least five right now in Latin America, even one in Mexico that I started. And while I was working on this, like getting women to leadership positions, I discovered there was a huge gap in STEM.
Mm.
So a lot of tech companies were reaching out to me, trying to convince me to get more women to apply to their companies, and they convinced me.
Nice.
I was like, I really want to be part of tech. Because of my leadership skills, I got an scholarship for the Stanford University Innovation Fellows Program,
Amazing.
and I discovered Silicon Valley, loved it. And today I'm a mentor of that program. But yeah, I was decided to move into tech at that point. But when I was getting like different proposals for roles, it was like marketing, finance, but I really wanted to be part of that core of technology. So I applied for the scholarship in London to learn how to program. And that's how companies started reaching out to me to become a product manager. At that point, I didn't know what a product manager was.
Oh, wow.
But the first role, I remember there were like multiple companies, but there was one that really caught my attention. It was Whale and Jaguar. They were making AI. This was before the pandemic.
Mm.
The founder was an astrophysics. It was a woman, and it was like, I really want to work there.
Amazing.
And for me, it was a little bit conflictuating for the people around me because nobody knew anything about this company. And AI, what was it? And it's like it was no sexy at all
Right,
at
long
this
before the
time.
boom.
Yeah. And it's like, why do you want to work there? You could like work in any company you want. And it was like, I don't know, it feels like it's challenging enough.
Yeah,
So that's how I started to build AI products.
amazing. That's so awesome. And what drew you specifically, do you think, to AI? It was just the challenge?
it felt like it was something I didn't understood how it worked.
Yeah.
But also, in the other hand, now that I remember, when I was in London, there was like this book that was written by Caroline Criado Perez, and it's called Invisible Woman. And
Invisible
it
Woman.
was, have you heard it?
No, I haven't. Tell us more.
You have to. It's like one of my favorite books.
Oh God.
But
Okay.
basically, it tackles how sometimes women are erased in the creation of products
Hmm.
because we are part of the data set. So, for example, so how many times, for example, all these systems that are like using our voice to perform actions, even if it's just like a speech to text, or even if you're like driving a car and you want to give instructions using your voice, women have to lower their pitch of
Um,
voice because the training data was like usually like only men, and it's not easy to recruit like women for this kind of test because of course we're very busy and we have like a lot of
we're doing all
legwork
the stuff.
doing everything. So yeah, so I think it was like a way of being part of that change I wanted to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, amazing. That's awesome. Did you find it was very male dominated in that AI space when you were there?
It was, I think I was like the second woman in the company or like one of
Wow.
the best ones. Well, I was like the seventh employee. So yeah, they were like, I didn't know how masculine it was, but while I was like doing all this research because I got like um, I got so obsessed with understanding this topic, and there are like so many books about it.
Yeah.
Even companies like Google at that point that really wanted to have like more diverse teams of engineers, they had like 75% men.
Yeah.
And it, like, this is a company that is making a lot of efforts. So my question is like, how could we start like navigating other options since it's not so easy to start like recruiting data scientists of ML engineers? And it's like, how can we train the team to be like conscient about the bias,
Yeah.
but also in the other side is like um, how we can make sure that we get more women
Yeah.
in this, yeah, in this tech world.
Into this tech world, especially right now when non AI roles seem to be being, those seem to be falling away. I worry sometimes about women's participation in the workforce. How did you keep from being intimidated? You didn't come in with a formal CS degree or with like a PhD in AI and data science. Did you find it intimidating?
To be honest, no.
I knew you didn't because
I
you're a badass.
maybe I hide it too well. But I was working with all these women issues for so long that I
Yeah,
really know, and I'm very conscious about it, about like how important is my point of view when I get to different tables, because
nice.
usually I am like the diversity quota. Right now I'm working in freight technology, for example, and it's like, of course, our customers are brokers, they're carriers, and it's like very masculine, and it's like this is the kind of places where I can really make a difference because it's not so easy to get this point of view.
Nice. Oh, I love that. And I think that's so true that it's like we're bringing us an additional set of superpowers, an additional perspective
Mhm.
inside the workforce. We have to just be like anchor on this is valuable. This is going to save the
Completely.
company money, give them extra insight to their users. They need me to show those stakeholders need me to show up, right?
Yeah, even in this book of Invisible Woman, there's like a part that explains that when Apple had the first option of the Apple Watch, they had like a lot of indicators. Like we don't even know what half of them mean, but there was not even one indicator for you to track your menstrual cycle.
Right.
And it's like some obvious, but it's like maybe there was not like a woman in the table who was going to advocate for these kind of features.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Such a great color to it, right? That it's like we are valuable in these spaces. What kind of AI products were you working on at that first company?
In Whale and Jaguar, we had like the core product, which was like social listening, yeah, for social media for different companies. And basically, we're like tracking all the information for social media of the brand
Hmm.
and different competitors. And based on that, we will have like different suggestions on NLP, like on the sentiment or different like topic classification and those kind of things.
Nice.
And then we had like other products that were not like real products, but it was like more like consultancy. So
Yeah.
we could like pay for our core product, and we had like OCR. analysis for data processing,
Nice.
and yeah, like getting information from financial documents.
Oh, amazing. So there were lots of different research projects in a diverse set of areas, it sounds like.
Yeah, we lacked
Amazing.
a little bit of focus, I have to be honest.
Hey,
But we're studying.
that made AI into your playground, right? It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I do hear from so many people right now who are in AI roles, but are like, but it's so narrow and there's so much to learn. It's kind of nice that
Yeah,
you get exposed to a lot of it.
it was good because at that point AI was a little bit of a buzzword too. So we had like also like a lot of money, and we had the chance to help the team develop like certain skills, because of course there were like many things they have not worked on.
Yeah.
And one of those products was called MyFina, which was like a bot that was creating reggaeton, feminist reggaeton automatically.
That's awesome. Now I want to hear some AI reggaeton.
It was very fun. It was not as intelligent as today Gen AI, but we really wanted to understand Gen AI, and I also used that project as a way of like telling the team on how to create an inclusive data set, and it's like how we were curating all the songs that were entering, because if you get like trash in, it's going to be trash out, but sometimes
Absolutely.
that trash gets amplified, and reggaeton has like earlier. It happens still sometimes, but it's like a genre that has like a lot of masculine and misogynistic lyrics. So it was
Mm,
like both ways training the team on how to create like Gen AI, and also like making sure that we could have like a great data set inclusive, so they could do like some kind of responsible
right.
AI. Now, my understanding and perspective on that changed a lot thanks to your bootcamp.
Oh, thank you.
Um, but yeah, that was like my beginning on AI.
Amazing. No, I think you brought that experience to bear absolutely, because it's again just bringing that extra perspective. All of a sudden you're like, we have to actually evaluate this data set for more than is it just correct, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, completely. Oh, that's so exciting. In your current role, you're at Thai, a freight transportation company. Can you tell us a little more about what you're doing there?
Yeah, so Pi is a TMS, and basically it helps the freight broker since starting like a quoting for the shipment to until it's delivered and
Mhm.
it gets paid. And we have like different solutions in AI, and it's incredible how many things have AI and how well developed are, because we have like a lot of functionalities that in other softwares, that functionality is the whole software. So,
Yeah.
for example, we have you can connect the TMS to your email, and you will get like all the information from the email, and the TMS already knows like if it's asking for a quote, if it's giving you any kind of update on your shipment and everything, and it's populating everything in the TMS.
Hmm.
And there's like a lot of capabilities. Also, we also have like this OCR where it's going to pull like all the documents from your email. It's going to tell you, hey, this document is from for this kind of type of document, and pulls the specific information. So there's like multiple things that have AI
Yeah.
that make the life of brokers easier.
A lot easier. Is it primarily leveraging more like OCR, old school ML, more as the more generative AI models? Is it a mix?
It has everything.
Mm,
So it has generative AI. So for example, if you're going to create like an email for a shipment, it will create that email completely for you, and it's going to pull the information from the document. So this is the shipment number,
yeah,
right? So it has that side, but also in the document part is going to create like the document classification and then the extraction of the specific data.
yeah,
And that's just like one of the small features that has like all the software, because it's a huge software.
yeah. Oh, amazing. Absolutely incredible. So it's been such a journey you've been on to learn about AI. You mentioned learning on the job in that first AI role. How else did you think about upskilling in AI?
What do you mean?
It's like what when you knew you were facing like, hey, I've got this big challenge, for instance, at Whale and Jaguar, of learning about AI. There were so many options even then to learn from. How did you think of like, here's how I'm going to get up to speed?
So at that point, there were not like a lot of options. I remember there was like in Andrew NG, I think it was the guy
Yeah,
that was like creating all this content in Coursera, and he was like getting all his courses to understand like how AI worked. And I actually try to learn things every day. Um, but I really enjoy learning, and I do it more for fun than actually to
mhm.
keep up. I just feel like it's an interesting world.
Oh, amazing. That's awesome. Fantastic. And then do you have any, oh, I know I want to ask, sorry. How do you personally use AI? Do you use it in your day to day at all for any specific tasks? It's
For
okay if not.
absolutely everything. For absolutely everything. I was using AI and I was not like, for example, aware that I was using AI. I love
Yeah.
Grammarly, for example. As a foreigner, Grammarly makes my life easier. But I also have ChatGPT. And in Productesas, for example, we have like a custom GPT called Paulina, and Paulina does everything for us. So, for
Mm,
example, if we're creating a landing page, like she's trained with all the information about Productesas, and she knows like the tone, everything. So whoever in the team wants to use Paulina to create communications, to send emails, to create the landing pages, she has everything. We activated the option for her to create images recently. So in the landing page, all the illustrations are ours.
amazing.
Um, it's so pretty because it has like the same brand colors and everything. It was like cheaper than getting a designer.
Yeah. Sorry, designers.
I use
But
designers for other things.
yeah. So yeah, it sounds very AI first within Product Testas. Tell us a little more about the evolution of Product Testas. How did that start and where are you today?
Okay, so Productesas started because when I started being a product manager, we didn't have like a lot. I didn't had a lot of resources in Spanish on how to become a product manager. I had like some contacts, but mostly it was like podcasts and books, like Inspired, for example, and Lenny's
Mm,
podcast. But everything is in English, and what was translated at that point in Spanish was like very old. And it was like just a few things. So I felt like the market in Colombia, even though we have very good tech people, we were like a
mhm,
little bit behind regarding product management. I was called to some companies to talk about product manager. I had like some people that I was mentoring regarding product, and I was like, I really want to have like more impact, and started like writing and doing things in Spanish because we are missing that, and I feel
yeah.
like so privileged of being in the right table that somebody was giving me the opportunity to become as a product manager, that I was also like to build like more bridges.
Mm,
So at the beginning, it was going to be a book, but it ended up being a deck of cards. So I was going to write a book, but I was like very concerned that it had to be like completely perfect. You know, in software, when
yeah.
something goes wrong, you can roll back or you can like make a hot fix, whatever. But when you have like something that is physical, that it gets printed, that it gets published 1 year after, it was
Hmm.
like a little bit overwhelming. So what I did is that I created this deck of cards,
Amazing.
um, which was using a little bit also the fundamentals of product on this is my MVP
Yeah.
of a book. And I was like testing the tone and if it's correct or appropriate to talk only to women or talking feminine and make it pink and with a lot of crazy emojis.
Yeah. Oh, fun.
So so that's how Productesas started. And while I was testing, I discovered there was like a lack for community
Mm,
because startups in Colombia are way smaller than the ones in the US. And usually you are like the only product manager.
mm,
And also like there's not like a lot of women. So we tend to feel very alone. So we started like doing different meetups and then power ups where we're like teaching people on different topics, design thinking, on AI, and those kind of things.
awesome. How big is Product Testas today? What kind of activities do you do?
Productesas right now has active like 100 people in Latin America. We're in different countries. We're in Colombia,
Amazing.
Mexico, Chile, Argentina. We have people in Spain, in Costa Rica, Panama, Brazil. It's crazy. There's like a lot of people all
Amazing.
around the world, uh, not even in Latin America, but Latin Americans living somewhere else. And we do different meetups where we discuss topics in a more informal way.
Yeah.
And then we have power ups, where it's like when we bring like a new skill to the table for people to learn.
Amazing. That's awesome. Have you taught them about make.com? I know that you're a make.com whiz now.
It's funny because I recorded the tutorial for the bootcamp, and then it was like, and I gave it to my team. So it's like, so I have this. This is the first time I record something in English, like a tutorial in English.
Oh, congrats.
So yeah. So it was like you have to listen it to my Sofia Vergara English. You're too lucky. and then they started using Make to automatize more things. in Productesas, and it was amazing because I feel like right now I'm like an octopus because I have my team, but I also my team has Paulina and has like other AI tools. So it feels like
Yeah,
even though we are not a lot, um, we are doing a lot, and I feel like I have my net.
that's amazing. What's something that you were most surprised that could be automated while you in within product tests?
Mm, So one time there was like a product meetup in Bogota in Colombia, and a lot of people were going. And somebody said like, wait, we should have like some kind of merch that day so everybody knows who we are.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, that sounds super cool. And then we automated like some customized messages only for the people in Colombia, and it was sent through WhatsApp.
Oh.
So it was a very high response because it was like, okay, so we got like all the database. It's reading who is in Colombia,
Hmm.
then it will like pull the name and some information, create the specific message to this person, like,
Yeah.
hey, we have this meetup. Do you want to buy your hoodie?
Mm.
And then it will send a message, and it was like so relieving. The problem was answering all those messages afterwards, but it was like great because
You need an additional automation for all the success you created.
yeah, but it. We got a lot of awareness that time.
Yeah, incredible. I think it's nonprofits like this too that I feel sometimes they're like, oh, AI, it's for like the Googles and the Amazons and the Microsofts, but it's actually a huge superpower you can leverage and have way more impact than you think without a ton of extra work if you know the right tools to use. Is that fair?
Completely,
Yeah.
completely.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, as I mentioned, Camila was our expert, resident expert who created the make.com walkthrough we have as part of the AI career blueprint because she's been using it so much. And it's really cool to see that you're leveraging that inside to have more impact as you go,
I
as
love
always.
it.
Fantastic. Well, to close us out, for those who are inspired by you, both in terms of your work you're doing in your career in AI ML, as well as how you're leveraging AI to have more impact outside of work. If someone is interested in getting started in AI, what's your best advice for them? How to get started?
I have two advice. First, for the people who want to start in AI, and second, for the people who want to start in product AI.
Hmm.
So the first one, for the people who want to start in AI, start talking to ChatGPT and just like ask random stuff and learn.
Yeah.
And then after you get comfortable with it, learn how to correctly prompt. Get some prompting engineer course. Like it happened to me at the beginning that I was like asking whatever. And then when I like decided to learn to prompt is when I got like best results. And it was like, oh my God, it's
So
cool. Like the kind of results that you can get when you learn how to ask. It's amazing.
incredible. Awesome. And then for AI product people?
I do love your bootcamp. I
Oh,
have to
thank
say it
you.
was great because before the bootcamp I was more into like start building and the solution. Um, but your bootcamp gave me like this point of view on really thinking how you're going to create a good product, right? And it's like doing everything except building, but it's like understanding like what are the risks, right? How we make it responsible, what
Yeah.
is the impact of what we're doing, and like giving a lot of thought regarding AI. And it was like super specific kind of knowledge that I needed in my life because building things is very easy,
Hmm.
but building the correct thing, and in a world of AI where you don't know how to build the right things if you have never done it before, it's it's something that I really value. So yeah, I really
Fantastic.
recommend your bootcamp.
Oh, thank you so much, Camilla. I think that is exactly the spirit in which it's built is that, building is becoming cheaper and easier. And of course, we do a lot, people do build prototypes as part of it, but it's like that's actually the last step. And it's fun when you've never done it before, but you realize that is just going to become easier and easier and easier.
Hmm.
Building the right thing in a way that can last is going to be the real skill, right? Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Camilla. We're just wrapping up now. Is there anything as we wrap up that you'd like to plug? How can people get in touch with you? Is there anything you'd like for them to join?
Yeah, sure. So if you want to follow me in LinkedIn, I post content mostly in Spanish. So if you're a Spanish speaker, if you're a product manager, follow me. I really try to make funny content in Spanish to let you know what product manager does.
Oh, amazing. That's awesome. And if people are interested in Productesas, how can they join?
In LinkedIn too, there's like the option just to register,
Oh, fantastic.
and you'll fill a prompt and we'll answer.
Oh, amazing. Awesome. Well, thanks so much. From my end, I always like to plug we have a free masterclass, the Path to AI Product Leadership, that we hold once a month. We always talk about the latest job reports and what's happening in product leadership, how it's changing. So I'd love to invite everyone to come join us in the next one. We will put those links both to Camila's LinkedIn, Productesas, as well as our masterclass in our show notes. And then last of all, not least, I always love to shamelessly plug the show. So don't forget to like and subscribe to your favorite podcast pipe or here on YouTube, whatever you're watching on. And please reach out with questions if you'd like to join the conversation. Support at AI Career Boost is the place to drop an email with show ideas, guest ideas. Well, that's been another episode of AI Product Leader, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks so much, Camila. Once again, thanks so much for sharing your experience. It's been a real pleasure.
Gracias, Polly. You're amazing.
Likewise.